Hello everyone and welcome to another video. For this one we are doing Patreon companion number 10. OMG, let's go. Alright, we are going to keep going on with the next thing, which is a new Patreon. So this one is going to be, I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Canna, Kirin? I don't know how to pronounce the flower. So I just did a little sketch of it, and then it looks like to me, it didn't really give me a list, but there's only really 4 colors a flower can be, which was pink, orange, yellow, and red. From what I could tell, obviously, like, some of them did have kind of like a design, so like this would be red, and then out here would be like yellow, so it kind of looks something like that. So I just did these colors because I thought that'd be kind of interesting, just to kind of do it this way. Now, I don't know how I wanted. I might actually literally just do it this way. Maybe. We'll see. But for the Kirin, so we're going to put him near a water edge of some sort. That's all I got so far. that's literally all I have. Let's see. What do I want to do? Maybe, oh, you know what? I wonder, because the Kirin's kind of like a calming presence, right? That's almost kind of what it is. So maybe something like that, I guess. So maybe we could do something like this. Maybe traveling across the stream. Have the tail go back that way. So just very calming is kind of what I just want to stick with. And then the hair and such are just going to be the flower petals like usual. Even back here, petals. Even the horns I'll do reminiscent of the flowers, because it looks like the flowers are kind of on one central stalk, and then there's just multiple of them, and some veer off. So I'll probably end up doing something like this for the horns when I get there, and do something like that. Now, obviously, and then I do have kind of somewhat big, I don't want to call them petals, but there are some flowers down here. Okay, I wonder if I could almost make it like misty or stormy. So I'm really thinking of, I don't want to say like rice fields, but I guess that area, I suppose, is what it's making me think of when it says like wetlands, is to do something like that. So then I'll need to either I might just put mist around and not do rain. I don't know yet, but we'll see. Because obviously down here it's going to be like brown, yellow grass, I think. Maybe a touch of green, we'll see. Back here, maybe some mountains. It's going to be pretty flat land, I think. There's not going to be a whole bunch. He's not necessarily like a giant Kirin, it's just like a little waterway, but I'll have to see when I actually get there to how I'm going to do this. But I'm going to be doing pink, yellow. If I can grab it, that'd be wonderful. Okay, so I want to do these 3, which I think will be a nice little combination. Or do I want him to have be yellow? Ooh. Because I haven't done a yellow Patreon yet. Okay, I think his main color is going to be yellow. And then I'll probably include the pink and then the orange. And then let me grab light brown. Do I want to stick? I might just do gray for the water, I think. Because then I'll also need it for the sky. Maybe some dark green in there. Okay. It's gonna be like fairly muted, I suppose, which isn't that big of a problem. So it's going to be interesting. I also have kind of a weird pattern when I do these Kirins. So we'll see. I almost feel like the yellow might be kind of good though to include because it's almost, I don't want to say like uplifting, but I feel like it'll kind of help with that. So then the flowers, I'm just going to put down like this pattern here. So it'll just be colored on the edges with the main color is kind of what I want to do. I think would be a good option. He's definitely going to be something though, that's for sure. All right, and then I need orange to finish him off. So I'm wondering if I can make him look wet. If it's gonna be like kind of like misty and like maybe a slight drizzle. I'll have to see. Maybe I could do a slight drizzle like when I'm at the very end of this and I'm doing my digital portion. Because I'm not gonna focus on that here. I don't like doing that. Certain things I'll do, but to kind of do rain and such is what I do digitally now. Just don't have to worry about messing anything up. Okay. So now for the water, I don't want it to be blue. So I'm thinking it's gonna be this with some slight brown in it. Because he's definitely going to be the brightest thing, and which I think is fine, because again, that's what I've been trying to do, is I want the characters to stand out from everything else, so I'm fine with that. But these leaves are also green. So, there. Let me just color these in yellow so I can kind of see them a little bit better. Because again, those will be pink, orange, and yellow throughout with all the flowers. I'm just doing them this way for right now. Just so I can get an idea of what I want to do. But yeah, I don't really think there's going to be a ton going on here. Because I'm just thinking of like rice fields for whatever reason. That's just kind of how I feel, so that's probably what I'm just going to end up sticking with. And just kind of making the tops of the gray, or I might reverse that, make down here, let me put bottom of grass green. And we'll do brown for top. Just so, I don't want to say like necessarily make it look dead, but just where it's not so bright. All right, and then it'll just be gray in the background. So then that way I can do different things with the clouds. I can add some clouds in, pretend this is another gray, it's fine. But I can just do something like that just to kind of help. Okay. I think that's what we're going to go with. I feel like it's kind of nice because it's almost kind of calming too. He is a lot brighter than everything else, which again is fine. Even the flowers probably won't be nearly as bright as him, so I'll see what I can do there. I might tone them down just a little bit to help. But that is what we're going to end up doing. So stay tuned to actually see what I create. In places where rivers run warm and the soil never forgets the sun, there walks a guardian known as the Canna Kirin. It does not arrive with thunder, it arrives with color. The Canna Kirin is drawn to places where life gathers and spreads. It walks slowly, deliberately, never wasting motion. Each step presses warmth into the soil. It feeds not on plants, but on imbalance, overgrowth, neglect, or stagnation. It restores flow, allowing ecosystems and people to breathe again. Where other guardians protect through stillness, the Canna Kirin protects through growth. It teaches that thriving is not about pushing harder, but about creating the right conditions to grow. It represents growth through warmth, not force, restoration of flow, emotional, creative, and environmental, abundance that comes from balance, and visible beauty as a sign of inner harmony. So this little Kirin is not my normal kind of color styling, I suppose you could say, because I've not done a yellow Patreon companion yet. And it's also very different because if you look at the background when I get there, it's very dreary and dark, but then he's bright yellow, pink, and orange, like he stands out. Kind of crazy. But yeah, so I did keep with him kind of walking in and just kind of inspecting everything and kind of chilling, looking around. You know, just kind of bringing that comfort and calmness, you know, right before the storm, because, you know, calm before the storm. That's what they always say. It's kind of what I did here. It was also just interesting because I don't really do like a whole lot of like stormy backgrounds and whatnot, but that's kind of what this was. So it just provided me with like a different way of coloring something that I don't normally do that way. Is what this was. Obviously still some stuff to work on, but it was interesting. And the water, it was supposed to be water that he's walking over, but I'm like, it don't really look like water. It just looks like a trail, which I was like, all right, whatever. I'll keep it. It's fine. I'm just going with it. Like, the trail look is fine. But it's just interesting kind of looking at it as a whole. So you just kind of have this background that he's literally just stands out from it, which is my intention with all the rest of the drawings I try to do, is I try to make the character stand out, but not this much. I just feel like it's definitely very opposites with one another, because you got the dark and dreary background with this bright animal that's right in the middle of the page. So it's definitely a contrast. But, you know, even in our darkest, stormiest times, like, we still need to have a sense of calmness and security just to kind of keep us grounded. So I guess it actually kind of does help portray what he's about. So I was like, okay, well, it kind of works. But also, I'm just going to say it's kind of crazy that this is number 10. I've been doing these for almost a year now. That's absolutely wild to think about. OMG. So, no, this is definitely crazy. But it is fun with doing these animals because I have such a specific way of doing them. Like, some animals, they have more, like, frills on them than others. It's weird to try to put the flower in the animal. And that's why I do most with, like, petals and stuff, because I think that's the easiest, or even, like, the end of the tail somewhat resembles the flower. Again, it's very interesting because some of them I do feel like are definitely harder than others, depending on how much they have. Because I think the next two I have left are the bat and the raptor. Those are going to be interesting and probably kind of fun, but that'll be for the next 2 months. Interwear. But even for the shading and the lighting, I was kind of having it more top down is what the intention was, which I figured kind of made sense because even though it's like dark out, you know, you still get that like sense of light coming through. It's a weird, you know, dark light thing. I don't know. It's like an overcast situation where it's still like nice and light outside, even though the sky is kind of dark. So I was trying to go with that a little bit, but also just making the Kirin brighter than the background, like how he should be. Also just doing that. Even the flowers I have brighter, but it's also like, if you think about it, it's because it could be like he's close to them. So then he's like putting his energy into the flowers and like kind of helping them go a little bit brighter than everything else in a way. Also kind of that. I probably could have made the flowers a little bit darker though and kept him a lot lighter just so he definitely stands out. But what I have here still works. So I'm not really like upset, but yeah, this water, I was just trying to put it down and kind of like how you would see like the water kind of flowing a little bit with like the gray areas kind of like, I guess, being like the white spots, if you will, that sits on top of the water, and then kind of having the water just reflect what's around it. It didn't really work that way, so I'm like, ugh, I guess it could kind of be like a trail of sorts, I guess. Whichever way you want to think about it, however it looks to you, we'll just go with that. But even kind of doing like a darker kind of sky was kind of interesting. It wasn't very difficult because I did put some of those storm clouds in there just so they're starting to roll in and everything. Even though it's about to pour, he's still there bringing that warmth and comfort and everything, you know, getting ready to switch out the old with the new type of stuff and like the healthy with the dead, I guess. So a couple different representations, I suppose, I have going on here. You know, somewhat intentional, others not so much. It just kind of ended up that way, and I'm not really mad because it still kind of works with how he is. So it's like, I can work with that, you know, I can go with it. Definitely something interesting, though. But he's a lot of fun. He did turn out really well, though, so I'm not super mad. But I know, it's just a lot of pink and orange for these past, like, multiple characters, and it's so bad. But a lot of the flowers, I can't help it, they're pink and orange. I have to try and pick colors that kind of work together, and I'm just like, OMG. So I'm also trying to pick colors I wouldn't normally have for, like, the main body, like yellow. I've had yellow in a couple of them, but it's not been, like, the main body color yet, so I was trying to do that too. But, like, if you go back and look, it's like they're all pink and yellow, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Or pink and orange. It might not be those, like, exact two colors together, but it's just a lot of pink and a lot of orange everywhere. But, I mean, the other option's green, but I'm like, I can't put green in all the characters, because I'm like, you know, because of the stalks and the leaves and whatnot, and I'm like, that's not going to work either. Oh, but, oh well, we just have to go with it. That's just the way the flowers are. But this is coming up towards the end, so I just want to say that if you would like to get your own, like, print of this, or, like, the download, or, like, line art, or even some more lore about, or, like, the actual, like, lore cards, you can go to Patreon and sign up. There's only specific tiers that get this stuff, which is the elemental gets all three. The green only gets the print and the line art, and the red just gets the line art. So you can feel free to do that. Also, because you can actually help me decide, like, future flowers and animals and whatnot, and, like, how they look. On top of also helping me, like, decide the future of the comics that I do, and just lore about them, and, like, Q&As, and just BTS stuff, and, like, all that thing. So if you're interested. But other than that, if not, and you just want to enjoy these as drawings, I still appreciate it. I hope you kind of find him fun and somewhat interesting. He is definitely interesting for me to do. But yeah, that's pretty much him. So with that, thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye!